Okay, fifth graders, so for homework tonight, we are talking about properties of numbers, reviewing in class today. So number one we did together in class, just for an example. We're going to solve it. 5 times 1 is 5, and then we're going to look and see which property that was talking about. We determined that it was the identity property because you're getting the same thing back as went in. And so we know that we're going to look down here for 5, and then we'll put an A in there because that's what we circled. 12 times what is 12? Well, that must be a 1. And again, that's the identity property because you're getting the same thing back that you put in. And so we'll find number 1, and we're going to call that an O. Are there any other number 1s? No. 4 times 9 equals 9 times 4. Since they're changing order, we know that we've got the commutative property, CO, changing order. And we want number 4 this time. Number 4 is going to be an E. Looks like I'm off the screen. I'll scooch up a little bit. And this one, 30 times something equals 50 times 30. And we know that this has to be 50. And again, they were changing order, so we've got the commutative property once again. And we want to find 50 and call it F. Okay. 8 times something equals 0. Well, it started out at 8. This must be 0. So we've got that 0 property. Anything times 0 equals 0. So we'll find 0 and put a, I don't know, is that a I? Must be, it's capital. Because all the others are capital. Alright, now we've got parentheses here. 2 times 3, the quantity 2 times 3 times 7. And then we've got 2 times the quantity 3 times 7, because we want to keep our numbers the same. Now, these are staying in exactly the same order, 2, 3, 7, 2, 3, 7. So we know it's not the commutative because it didn't change order at all. It stayed in the same order, but it's associating with different people. I tell my 5th graders to think about lining up for lunch. They don't change the order that they're in because kids will get mad, so you stay in the same order, but sometimes you talk to the person in front of you, sometimes you talk to the person behind you, but you stay in the same order. So that would be the associative property. And so we'll find number 7 and call it a T. 9 times 8 times 20. 9 times 8 times 20. We've got the same thing again. Exactly the same order. The only thing that changed is our parentheses. So we've again got that associative property. And so number 20 is going to be an A. 43 times 21 times 37. Something times 21 times 37. That must be 43. We're keeping the exact same order, but the one thing that changed was our parentheses. So we've got that associative property yet again. And that was 43 is F. Looks like we had an F before too. 35 times 45 equals something times 45, so I'm thinking this must be 45. And it looks like it's just switching order, changing order. So that would be CO, commutative property, changing order. We've got an O, and so 45 is going to be O at the bottom. Something times 6 equals 6 times 96, so this must be 96. Again, we're changing order, so we've got the commutative property. An S, 96 is an S. 77 times 1 is going to equal 77. And anytime you multiply times 1, you get the same thing back. It's keeping its identity. It didn't change at all. So our identity property here, 77 is T. 5 times 40 times 30, 5 times 40 times 30. They're staying in exactly the same order. The thing that changed was who they're associating with. Remember, this is like lining up for lunch. Associative property. So number 40 is going to be an N. And it's 61 times 38 times 59. 61, 38, 59. Looks like we're just changing who we're talking to again. We've got that associative property. They're all staying in order. That's a U. 59 is a U. Starting to try and figure this out. This one's looking crazy to me. I hope I didn't make a mistake along the way. Something times 3 times 15. 87 times 3 times 15. This must be 87. They're in exactly the same order, so the only thing that changed is who they are associating with. So we've got associative property again. 87 is C. 90 times 44 equals 44 times 900. Oops, I said 90, didn't I? 900 times 44 equals 44 times 900. It looks like they're changing order on us because they're moving around, so we must have the commutative property. Remember, the C and the O change order. 44 should be an R. Oh, this should be an R. I must have put the O in the wrong spot. That will be an easier mistake to fix then. So, where have I put the O before? Don't know. We'll figure it out at the end. Something times 1 equals 161. So this must be 161. And since it's keeping the same number, it keeps its identity. Nothing changed. That's the identity property being expressed. So 161 is an E. It ran out of, we'll read our question again. 22 times 1 times 9 equals 22 times 1 times 9, keeping the exact same order, just the parentheses are changing who they associate with. So that's the associative property. 22 is a P. And our last one, 75 plus 6 times 0. And we're going to get the 0 property because we know anything times 0 is 0. So what plus, we know it needs to equal 0. 6 times 0 is 0. And now 75 plus 0 will equal, so over here I need 75 because this part will equal 0. So now back to what property that is. It's not the 0 property because our answer didn't end up a 0. It also doesn't look like the identity property because it didn't stay the same on the answer side. I gotta think about that one. Alright, and it actually is the 0 property, and here's why. It's not the multiplication part, this is the addition part. So 75 plus 0 is going to equal 75, just like if it was times 0, it would have been 0 as well. But since it's plus 0, we're going to keep the same number, so that makes it the 0 property. We'll put an L in here. And then here's that one, it's number 9 up here. 45 was an O, I just put it in the wrong spot. It ran out of elf space. Let's look at our question. Why is the library not adding any more fairy tales? It ran out of elf space. Kind of silly. Thanks for working with me today.